And I would like to bring Liz Remmerswaal, who is World Beyond War's Vice President and also the chapter coordinator of the New Zealand chapter. I'd like to bring Liz up to the mic to moderate this session on hearing chapters from around the world. Liz, are you there?
Yes, thank you. Hi, everybody. Welcome to you all for this wonderful conference. And it's great to see so many people here and so many people coming over the weekend. And a big thank you to David for that incredible speech. I hope everybody's going to share that and it'll be available because it's so powerful and wonderful. And a big thank you to Greta and all the team who've prepared this conference so well. I'd just like to start with some words. I'm in Aotearoa, New Zealand. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa, ngā mihi nui kia koutou. And I think it's really important to acknowledge all the indigenous cultures, all the people on the lands in which we all stand and live and make our lives. The ones who have held the values that have sustained people for tens of thousands of years. Values of community, respect for the land, stewardship for future generations, and living practices. And I feel that is the heart of who we are and what we do. And it's the heart of living in peace, creating peace, and no more war. Anyway, far from Aotearoa, we're going to go to our amazing Bari Sweeney, who is the coordinator of the Ireland chapter, and he is also a former member of the board of World Beyond War. Bari, welcome. Would you like to share? We've got 5 minutes. We've got how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or 8 people from all around the world, and we're going to give them 5 minutes each to share what their chapters have been doing. So, and Greta's going to tell us about 5 minutes when it's time to stop. So welcome, Bari. What have you been up to?
Thanks for the introduction, Liz. Yes, and please do keep me straight on the time. No time reference here. It's been a busy year with World Beyond War Ireland, of course. I would say we have been working on a few things.
Sorry, we're not hearing you very well. Sorry. Can you get closer to your device?
Yes, I can. Is that better?
Yes, it is.
Okay, very good. Yeah, no, I was saying that we had a busy year this year with World Beyond War Ireland, working on a few different themes. The first being education. Even just listening to David's speech there, there's quite a few references you made, David, that I'm going to be looking up. There's so much to know, and there's so much to communicate. So our educational drive took a few different forms. We did a big social media drive for a few reasons. One, because the mainstream media is just completely gone. Rational people have no platform at all. So we wanted to build a platform. And we wanted to connect with more like-minded people and grow the movement. So there were sort of reasons behind it. We wanted to challenge the militaristic narrative that you see in the mainstream media. We wanted to highlight the numerous, uncountable breaches of Irish neutrality. They don't make the national press. From the use of civilian airports to raising financial bonds for genocidal armies, all sorts of stuff. So trying to raise awareness of the actions of the actual state. The Irish people are not aligned with the state, I would say, at this stage. So a lot of a lot of effort went into social media this year, without a shadow of a doubt. We have been active members of a coalition in Ireland as well. It's the Keep Ireland Neutral Coalition. And through that, the more educational events came up. And there was a neutrality roadshow which toured around Ireland, is still touring around Ireland. I think there have now been 28 different roadshows around the country, talking about neutrality, the positives of neutrality, talking about the violations that the government is doing, and trying to bring these things to raise the awareness of these issues. So there's been a lot of effort going into the Keep Ireland Neutral coalition. That same coalition, in conjunction with the Shannon Vigil group, who monitor Shannon Airport and all of the militaristic activity that goes on there. There's been numerous new social media pages, numerous new groups, actual groups meeting, going around, postering, flyering, an enormous amount of activity, really. And we're in it, as many other groups are as well. In fact, David's point, together we are stronger. Maybe not every group wants to work on everything. Some groups are single issue groups, but you find the common ground and you work together. And there has also been a lot of effort going into one particular bill that's should be going to the Irish Parliament for about 7 years now at this stage, the Occupied Territories Bill, which would ban Ireland from trading with any occupied territories, not just Palestine. Palestine is the inspiration for it, but it would be any occupied territories, so from sea, land, anywhere in the world, Ireland would trade with them. The government, of course, is trying to reduce the impact of it. They're trying to water it down. I think they have it watered down now to bananas, some fruit. That's what we want to buy from Israel. There's been an enormous amount of work all across the country, all across all sorts of groups, calling local politicians, going to their offices, sending letters, calling radio shows, writing letters to the editors, and just trying to build and build and build pressure as best as we can. So I'd say they were the sort of three main sort of activities. They were working on Shannon, or even working on Shannon, working on the Occupied Territories Bill, working on the Keep Ireland Neutral coalition, and our own World Beyond War educational drive. And I would say that's a summary of the very, very big picture type stuff. I'd say I'm probably coming up to my 5 minutes there now, Greta, am I?
Oh, thank you, Barry. It's absolutely perfect. So well done.
Thank you very much.
Great to hear about all those activities, and thank you so much for all your work. Absolutely wonderful. And there's lots of claps and hearts coming up on my screen.
Very good.
So,
well, the work
love
goes
to you,
on, of
buddy.
course. So
yeah.
If we are definitely looking for new members as well. So if there are Irish people here who are just coming along to see World Beyond War for the first time, make sure and get in touch.
Wonderful. And it's always good to see what's happening at Shannon Airport with our board member, Ed Horgan, who and his team who are constantly protesting the warplanes that land there in a neutral country. Right. Our next person, we're going over to our wonderful Latin America branches. And we've been so lucky to have Gabrielle, who's leading all the branches over there. And we're going to El Salvador. And I'd like to welcome Irvin Pineda, who is the chapter coordinator from El Salvador. Hola. Oh, yes, I think it's a
Saludos
pre-recorded.
a todos y a todas. Soy Irvin Pineda, coordinador de país de WorldBeyondWar, capítulo de El Salvador. Desde ese pequeño país de Centroamérica me es grato saludarles a todos los participantes de la conferencia No a la Guerra, espacio en el cual también nos permitimos presentarles el informe de trabajo que hemos desarrollado en todo este año. Ha sido un año cargado de actividades encaminadas en la construcción de un país en paz. Por ello, es que queremos compartirles nuestro quehacer a lo largo de ese periodo. El capítulo se fundó en el 2024 como una necesidad de crear espacios que trabajaran por la paz, el respeto a los derechos humanos y al Estado de Derecho. Es por ello que desde hace año y medio soy al frente de este esfuerzo con un gran equipo de compañeros y compañeras que buscamos la forma de hacer actividades encaminadas bajo esos objetivos. Y es que deben saber ustedes que el país actualmente atraviesa una crisis referente a la paz y a la democracia. Con la llegada de Nayib Bukele a El Salvador, ha habido un retroceso significativo en materia de cultura de paz, pero también un retroceso significativo en los derechos humanos, la libertad de expresión, la libertad de prensa y, sobre todo, el aumento a la militarización del país. Hace muchos años, El Salvador fue ejemplo de que con el diálogo se pueden resolver las diferencias y poner los intereses del país por encima de los intereses personales. Aquel 16 de enero de 1992, con la firma de los acuerdos de paz, permitió que El Salvador pudiera ponerle fin a 12 años de guerra. Los acuerdos de paz permitieron poner las cartas sobre la mesa y crear un nuevo sistema democrático, con instituciones que fueran garantes del respeto a la institucionalidad, a la democracia, a la paz y a los derechos humanos. Veintitantos años después, todas esas instituciones ahora están bajo el control de una sola persona. No podemos garantizar, no podemos permitir que haya paz y seguridad violentando derechos humanos. Bajo todo ese esquema de las violaciones que se han dado en nuestro país, de la Constitución de la República, de las leyes, de las instituciones, es que alzar la voz es importante. Y nuestro capítulo ha desarrollado actividades que van encaminadas a empoderar a la gente, pero sobre todo informarle de qué está pasando realmente. Y no, nuestra tarea como capítulo es denunciar esa violación de los derechos humanos y además sumarnos a los esfuerzos globales que se hacen por la defensa de la paz. Parte de ello es que por 2 años consecutivos hemos desarrollado la Ola de la Paz. En el primer año, alzamos nuestra voz junto al mundo para hacer solidaridad con Palestina. Hicimos una tarde cultural en el cual contamos con representación de la Embajada de Palestina, con la Asociación Salvadoreña Palestina y conocimos de primera mano la problemática y la crisis que el pueblo palestino estaba y está sufriendo. Alzamos nuestra voz, alzamos nuestra denuncia y nos sumamos a todas las denuncias que el mundo entero había hecho, porque sabíamos que estábamos apoyando lo correcto. Ese año, en el 2025, hicimos una segunda actividad en el marco de la Ola de la Paz, y le llamamos Monseñor Romero y su vigencia en el proceso de paz de El Salvador. Monseñor Romero es una figura clave en la historia de nuestro país. Él, que se convirtió en la voz de los sin voz, denunció las injusticias y las violaciones de derechos humanos que en aquel entonces El Salvador vivía. Además, nos sumamos a la campaña global del cierre de las bases militares. El Salvador cuenta con bases militares que muchas veces ni siquiera lo sabíamos. A través de una campaña digital, hicimos diferentes posts denunciando dónde estaban esas bases militares y que era importante cerrarlas. Además, alzamos nuestra voz mediante las redes sociales para denunciar que el gobierno de El Salvador, presidido por el presidente Bukele, estaba reduciendo presupuesto en materia de educación en su proyecto de presupuesto del país y lo estaba aumentando a las Fuerzas Armadas. ¿Cómo es posible que un país con grandes retrocesos en materia educativa no le esté apostando a la reconstrucción del sistema educativo y al contrario, esté cerrando escuelas, alegando que están en reconstrucción, pero más de 2 años después, las escuelas siguen cerradas? Los niños se encuentran en la virtualidad, pero hay pruebas de que eso no nos está permitiendo hacer un desarrollo educativo en el país. Por eso es que denunciamos que el gobierno estaba cerrando escuelas y estaba aumentando el presupuesto a la Fuerza Armada. No podemos permitir que un país que ha sufrido la guerra, que sufre represión, que sufre el miedo a las fuerzas policiales y las Fuerzas Armadas, siga apoyándolos a esas fuerzas vigilantes y no esté apoyando a la educación. Por eso es que seguimos alzando la voz y lo seguiremos haciendo las veces que sea necesario para denunciar que no se está apoyando e invirtiendo en la educación. Y como un último punto, nosotros también estamos en contra de la minería metálica. El país, por muchos tiempo, bueno, ni tan tiempo, en el 2017, el país aprobó la ley de prohibición de la minería metálica. Tras décadas y décadas de lucha, se pudo aprobar esta ley, en el que apoyó la academia, la iglesia, organizaciones sociales, porque sabían y saben que la minería metálica destruye vidas, porque la minería metálica no es para nada beneficiosa, y es por eso que, en el momento que ustedes vean este video, nuestro país habrá desarrollado un foro virtual sobre la minería metálica, porque sabemos que es un tema que aunque el gobierno quiera invisibilizarlo y hacer que se olvide, no se puede callar. Y vamos a seguir rechazando la minería metálica, porque la minería metálica mata. Y nosotros que defendemos la paz, los derechos humanos, no podemos estar apoyando algo que va en contra de la vida. El capítulo tiene un largo trabajo que hacer. Si bien es cierto, bajo el actual sistema de represión que el gobierno tiene, alzar la voz es un riesgo inminente. Al final sabemos que esto es así, que las dictaduras buscan callar las voces y que no se denuncien los actos de corrupción, de violencia y de violación sistemática de derechos humanos. Seguiremos trabajando por la paz. Seguiremos trabajando porque El Salvador haga su rumbo en el marco de una cultura de paz, donde se respete la Constitución, donde exista la independencia de poderes, donde nuestros niños y nuestras niñas puedan caminar libremente en las calles, sabiendo que están en un país seguro y en paz. Esa es nuestra tarea. Gracias, queridos compañeros y compañeras. Nuestra solidaridad con cada esfuerzo de todo el mundo, desde la tierra de Monseñor Romero, de las pupusas, el calor y las playas, el café, pero también de un pueblo que lucha, que no nos asusta la dictadura, que seguimos y seguiremos denunciando eso que está mal y que sabemos que contamos con el apoyo solidario de cada uno y de cada una de ustedes. Por un mundo más allá, sin guerra, nosotros vamos a trabajar arduamente.
Gracias, Irvin. Thank you so much for all your wonderful work. It's just fantastic, and so much courage goes into all of those actions and all of that work. Gracias. Okay, we're going to now fly across the Pacific Ocean to the largest continent and the oldest continent of Australia. And I'd like to warmly welcome my wonderful colleague, Alison Broinowski, who's a board member of World Beyond War. And she's a great writer and speaker for many things. She's been a diplomat and a journalist and all sorts of things. And she's now going to introduce what Australia's been up to. Welcome, Alison. It's quite early over there too. Unmute, please.
Alison, you'll need to unmute. We still can't hear you. Okay, there you go.
Okay. Thank you, Liz. And thank you, David, for that terrific paper. I want to read it again and give it to other people so they get the hang of what we are doing in World Beyond War. And thank you, Liz, from Aotearoa, New Zealand, to here where we are on the Gadigal, the land of the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation. And let's remember that those people and their Aboriginal colleagues all over Australia have lived here for 60,000 years without destroying each other by war. It sets us all the most amazing example of what can be done if we are wiser and less ridiculously stupid in the way we attack each other. I have to say that in Australia, things are headed in the opposite direction. Instead of reducing our capacity for war, our governments are bent on increasing it, both with military bases in this country and with weapons that we've never had before. And it's turning that process around that is part of the task of our chapters here. And the head of our chapter in Victoria is Alan Clayton, and he is going to explain to you what's going on among the various activities that World Beyond War members are involved in. This particular one about Afghan peace volunteers will be explained to you by Alan right now.
Thank you, Salam. I'm Alan Clayton, and I'm speaking to you from the traditional lands of the Wurundjeri people of the Woiwurrung language group of the Kulin Nation, lands that have never been ceded. This slide, as the caption shows, is the successful arrival of 20 former Afghan peace volunteers at Lisbon Airport prior to their travel for resettlement in Liera in central west Portugal, a resettlement process aided by an amazing Portuguese NGO in Pulsar. This was the third resettlement of former APVs in Portugal, the first inspired by another amazing NGO, Terra Centropica Myrtila. In the 6 years before the cataclysmic events of August 2021, when the Taliban retook power in Afghanistan, a remarkable group of young, courageous, inspirational civil society activists, some of whose activities are chronicled in Mark Isaac's book, The Kabul Peace House, had maintained cooperative projects to assist street kids, support refugees within Kabul, assisting widows struggling to feed their children and communities in extreme poverty, alongside an inspiring witness and strong advocacy for peace and social justice issues, including gender equality. They maintained strong links with Western peace activists, including Kathy Kelly, who was, of course, the international president of World Beyond War, who had made around 20 visits to Afghanistan, Sherry Moran, who I see is online, Sarah Ball, Rosemary Morrow, the founder and driving force behind Permaculture for Refugees, Dale Hess and others. So when the tragedy of August 15, 2021 occurred, many of these individuals formed an international group to assist the Afghan peace volunteers, most of whom were in mortal danger, to try and find safety. As the international group is a collection of individuals, some of the European governments and agencies required an incorporated body to be the formal link, and World Beyond War Australia Incorporated provided that link. And through a range of endeavours over the 4 years, more than 50 former Afghan peace volunteers have found formal resettlement, and another 50, around another 50, have found some form of haven through more informal means. And I'm absolutely delighted that there are a number of former APVs online for these presentations. And I can see Zafar Khan, Leila Ibrahimi, Halibullah Frutan in Portugal, and also Mogadasa Gahari in Portugal, and Barakah Amir in Germany. For your witness, courage and inspirational example, I say Kila Tashakur Mikaram Murafak Bashed Zuda Hafez. I'll now pass to Alison Broinowski.
Thank you, Alan. That's the kind of thing that people in Australia are cooperating with internationally. And on Alan's home turf in Melbourne, there have been a lot of other things going on. For instance, in September, just this last September, a vigil was held on the steps of the State Library for what was then 18,430 children who have been killed in Gaza, and their names were read out one by one. Unfortunately, the way things go, there are many more now, and I fear there will be more. That, in turn, will pass over to further activities in Australia, including this effort by Quakers to fast in solidarity with Palestinians in Israel, symbolizing their desire to stop the starvation, and to demonstrate one of many demonstrations around Australia that have gone on in various locations. This one last July outside the United States consulate. Later on, I'll talk to you about one in Sydney. This one, involving 6 Australians, were the people who sailed with the global Sumud flotilla and who were taken prisoner on October the 3rd. They're all back safely in Australia now, and many, as you've all heard, were badly treated in Israel. That's part of Australia's international operation. But here, and if you look closely, you'll see that the Sydney Harbour Bridge is absolutely packed with people, including me down there. Can you see me too? And the line of people goes all the way down a great big curve down there back into the city. At the other end, the objective was to get to the US consulate, the same as the Melbourne people had done, and to demonstrate there. At the other end of the bridge, they were stopped by police, claiming that there would be a crowd crush and therefore dangerous. So they turned everybody back, thereby creating a crowd crush. No danger, no fatalities, no arrests, nobody was hurt, and everybody was cheerful, and it was pouring with rain, and there were watermelon-colored umbrellas everywhere, symbolizing Palestine, and chanting and banging
we're running out of time, Alison.
for Palestine. It was terrific. There is the Melbourne one. Liz, is this for you now? Or no? It's the
that's Melbourne. That's another photograph. And you'll see there that the head of Quakers as well is there, Tim.
Indeed.
I've forgotten his second name, but we have to quickly wrap up. So if we can just quickly race through couple more slides, please.
Tim G.
Tim G, that's the one, thank you. Talking about neutrality, we also collaborate with the Pacific Peace Network and the Independent and Peaceful Australian Network, and we do work on neutrality. This is one of our webinars. And next we have, this is on Palm Sunday in Sydney, in the Hyde Park, a peace picnic, a peace rally in association with Gaza. And in Sydney, also in May, we had a Keep Space for Peace protest outside the Space Summit the exploration and the militarization of space is one of the most worrying, deadly, terrible things that's happening in the world. And there's some knitting nanas in Sydney collaborating with other organizations is great. And this is Anzac Day at the Marrickville Peace Park, a little celebration for peace there with lots of people. So that's it. Thank you so much to Alison and Alan and all the work you're doing. Fantastic. Great. So next we have another speaker coming from over in Gambia. And it's a pre-recorded one. And we have a gentleman called Omar Mboob from Gambia. And also a big thank you to Guy for his work coordinating the African continent.
Hello, everyone joining us from around the world. There are peace lovers in the world, peace activists, peace advocates. Following World Beyond War chapter coordinators from Africa all over the world. My name is Omar Mboob. I am World Beyond War Gambia chapter coordinator. I am happy to be here at No War conference today to talk about who we are, some of our activities we have carried out this year. I am also here to learn from others and from other chapters about their amazing work. I will start by talking about World Beyond War Gambia chapter, who we are, how many members we do have. The chapter was launched in June 2024. Today we are about 100 members who are actively in our chapter, and the door is still open, so we expect to have even more people. The more we go, the more we grow as well. We really need peace in this country because presently there is a lot of insecurity and people are praying that there will be peace. Also, as you know, next year 2026 will be our presidential election. Within the number of risky ends, the need of more awareness about non-violence, peace. We really need peace in the Gambia, our main campaign. We are engaging with Stop Killer Robots, whereby we involve policymakers, National Assembly members in the forum that we organized last May. We involve youth leaders across our region. As for the civil society, we also had a student attend. All participants were 50 who gathered at Pajara. We discussed the issue of autonomous weapons, as we believe that with ideas and dialogue we can advocate for their ban. The fact being, machine describe who to die, who to stay. Among our speakers, we had Mariama, who stressed youth leadership on disarmament. We also had Honorable Mulamin Jai call for law banning autonomous weapons. He is one of our National Assembly members. We also had a youth representative, Kemo Bojang, who highlighted the Gambia culture value for peace advocates. Continuing AI militarizations and creating a culture of peace in a webinar on youth perspective on AI militarizations and peace buildings that were organized on the International Day for Peace. It was space to discuss on youth strategy for advocate at local and global level. We advocate for adding peace, disarmament topics into school, building partnership between youth policymaker, peace lovers. Those are the recommendations that came from our events. Regionally, I was lucky to participate at the high levels meetings where I was invited by ECOWAS to celebrate the dialogue at the 50th anniversary. The events was amazing, which high profile people like ministry from Senegal and West Africa. I was representing the World Beyond War at the international dialogue where we advocate for peace, disarmaments, and non-violence conflict resolutions in the regions. As we highlighted that we need to invest in education, health, and social development to prevent war and network with youth, peace, love, peace buildings across West Africa, and strengthening collaboration between World Beyond War Senegal. I met with the chapter coordinators of Senegal, and we were able to have private dialogue to see how we can work together this year and next year so that we can promote regional dialogue between Senegal and Gambia. You can contact our Gambia chapter via email, WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter. On that note, I thank everyone who joined us today, and to make this important event happen, my recommendation will be let's keep advocating for peace because the world needs us to make it. When we stand together, we share our own values, we give peace a chance. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. That was wonderful. And Omar, thank you for all your work. And also, as I mentioned, big thanks to Guy, who coordinates the mighty African continent. So we're now going to head across another ocean and go straight to the belly of the beast. And we're going to an amazing place called Madison in Wisconsin, United States of America. And they do incredible things in Madison chapter. I'm just in awe of it. So let's hear from Elias Lyman. Welcome, Elias.
Hello, thank you. My name is Elias Lyman. I am the founder of Wolfpack Beyond War, World Beyond War's campus chapter at Madison Area Technical College. I was raised Quaker and am an anthropology student. I have a slideshow going over some of the events that we've had at MATC, UW, the larger campus in Madison, and then Madison chapter in general. To start off with, I'll start with MATC, my chapter Wolfpack Beyond War. Recently, we've been engaging in Chalk for Peace, which these two first slides are going to go over. This has been a great event for getting new members and for spreading our message just with the general campus. This slide here is a prompt, an open prompt for anyone walking by. So we have lots of responses from new students, and many of them joined our club as well. The next slide here is detailing some events that we had last year. We had 3 different conversations with local political representatives, both Senator Tammy Baldwin and Mark Pocan from the U.S. House of Representatives, a staunch supporter of the abolition of militarism. And we also had a press conference after this discussion. You can jump to the next slide here, sorry, where we discussed with Tammy Baldwin the $20 billion we were going to be sending to Israel, and she was non-committal on her response of whether or not she was going to support that choice or not. But having these press conferences is a great way to reach a larger part of the community in Madison. So we always recommend that. This is the event that I'm proudest of at Madison College last semester, our Solidarity for Peace event. The idea of it was to find the intersections of all these different cultural groups or religious groups, peace advocacy groups, and find the intersection of how they're supporting or desire peace. Sorry, I'm a little nervous today. The intersections for how they are desiring peace or war abolition. So we had school groups, Black Student Union, Native American Student Association, lots of other cultural groups, and then we also had community groups like Jewish Voice for Peace, Veterans for Peace, and many others, nearly 20 different organizations, all lining the room. And then we had Mark Buchan as the main speaker. It was a great event, and you can jump to the next slide here. Here's Mark Buchan speaking and me with our school newspaper where we were able to promote the event. And jump one more slide here. And we've got our campus president, me, Mark Buchan, and our student, or our campus advisor, our a professor at the college that helps us advise the club. And it was a great event. We had like great attendance, and just having so many different groups that are all approaching peace from different angles and trying to find common ground rather than being fractured groups. I mean, we're stronger together. And nowadays there's all these different fights, and to find the common ground among those fights for peace, for war abolition is the greatest goal, I think. So jumping to the next slide here, sort of moving into what we've been doing in Madison in general with the Madison chapter. We've had a monthly anti-war cafe, which we were inspired by. I think there's a Berlin or German anti-war cafe that we were inspired by. It's been a great success. We always have a couple events, usually some speakers, and then spoken word, or people can go up and sing, and then crafts and food as well. At this one that we have highlighted here, we had a theological aspect of the conversation, the church divestment in Palestine. That was a really interesting conversation. Jumping to the next slide here, we had a conversation with Jewish Voice for Peace about the use of the word anti-Semitism and how it's been how it's been rhetorically manipulated in the past really decades, but especially recently. And you can see so many people in a room all listening together. And that's really the goal, is just forming a sense of community around our common interests. Jumping to the next slide here. Here we had a surgeon, Dr. Oroza Sidwa, who is a surgeon that served time in Gaza trying to help the Palestinian people over the last few years. He spent 2 different sessions there, and it was really interesting to hear about his experience trying to enter Gaza, trying to the limitations in how he could support the people there, and the state of the hospitals he was working in. It was really terrifying to hear about, but also super important. And we're lucky to be working with World Beyond War to be able to make these speeches happen. And the speakers come in. Skipping to the next slide here. We also, just to highlight some of the events at UW-Madison, we had a roundtable discussion with their anthropology department where we had a lot of great speakers, all talking about generational warfare. Each of these people, or many of these people, came from places in Asia, I believe, that over the last 40 years were deeply affected by American colonialism or imperialism. And it was interesting hearing from people that were directly affected by it and the younger generation of the people that had then since immigrated from those places, and how those effects, how the military effects were different on the people that were running away from those countries because of the American military actions taking place there, and then the younger generation that was more aware of how America had made that place unlivable. But it was a very interesting conversation with UW-Madison there. Skipping to the next slide here. We've also done a monthly film for peace. We've had a lot of success with this event, where we rent out like library spaces or theaters and put on films. We showed No Other Land twice before it was more challenging to show, with great turnout. Most recently, we showed War Made Easy with the director Norman Solomon, as coming for a talkback afterward, which is very interesting. Being able to get directors through World Beyond War, being able to show these films and then get directors to talk to directly is just such a great opportunity. Skipping ahead here, we also showed more recently The Palestine Exception, which is a film detailing the troubles on campuses in peace movements, and we had a professor from UW speaking after that one. The next slide is us at Closed Bases Day, and I think it's great that we have a worldwide effort to close down bases every year. I think that's an awesome activity. The next slide is we did a mock flotilla, a freedom flotilla, in support of those flotillas headed towards Gaza. We had a great turnout, and we took the boats down to the capital. And we made sure to do it on a day when there were a lot of other people already on the water, so we could get more attention as well. And it was an awesome event. I couldn't go to that one, unfortunately, but I heard it was a great time. We did it twice this year. Skipping to the next event. We've 3 years in a row now, we've done we have a regular fair of the Willie Street Fair here in Madison. And 3 years in a row now, we have World Beyond War Madison has engaged in that parade. And we had, I think, close to 200 to 300 people just in our regiment calling for less militarization. And I think that was an awesome event, just to see so many people and have all the other Madisonians that maybe aren't aware of World Beyond War become aware of our group. So if you have any fairs or parades that are happening regularly, I highly recommend trying to get involved in it. Skipping to the next slide here, just after the parade, we did a walk around the lake to, again, raise attention. And skipping to the next slide. We, again, made sure to let the Daily Cardinal, our local newspaper, know about that. And I, again, recommend that every time you have an event, try to get the local reporters to report on it. Next slide here is us at our vigil. We have two weekly vigils on Thursdays and Sundays, one downtown at the farmer's market and one just on a street corner. This is the one on Thursdays. Skipping ahead one. And this is showing that farmer's market vigil. One more slide, please. Sorry. And then us and the Madison Friends Meeting Quaker House have regularly set up a bunch of shoes in recognition of the children in Palestine and the effects on the Palestinian people, which is another great way. This is right in front of the Madison Capitol. And then this is also just detailing our Thursday vigils. And just a quick note, I personally was struggling to find a way to become an advocate for peace. And I think a lot of young people feel just suffocated by all of the information that you constantly see on your phone, and it can feel hard to get involved. And World Beyond War has been instrumental in allowing our campus chapter and other campus chapters to get off the ground and feel like we have support and feel like we have resources. So if you know any young people that are in college or high school, or if you yourself are one, I highly recommend reaching out to World Beyond War and seeing about starting a campus chapter. It can be really hard to get your voice to be heard nowadays, and it can be even harder to get young people that are stressed out and have very little time and are emotionally drained to be active. But in comparison to the Vietnam War, in Madison, we had huge protests, and that helped bring down that war and that was the abolition of that war. And without the young people, in comparison to the start of with the encampments and everything, we've seen a lot less activity, and groups like World Beyond War are fundamental to catalyzing more activism. So please reach out to your young people. Tell them, if they want to get more active, tell them to reach out to World Beyond War and see about starting their own campus chapter. Thank you so much from Madison. This is an amazing event, and I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
Gosh, thank you so much, Elias. It's just incredible what you're doing. And I don't know what you put in the water in Madison, but I wish you could bottle it and send it around to all the chapters of World Beyond War. Love to hear some more of you in the future again. Really inspiring. So now we're going across the Atlantic Ocean to Central Africa, to Cameroon, and we're going to hear a pre-recorded message from Roméo Sonkeng.
Bonjour à tous et à toutes. Je suis Roméo Sonkeng. Je suis le coordonnateur du chapitre World Beyond War du Cameroun. C'est avec un honneur de représenter notre équipe à la conférence annuelle de cette année et de participer aux efforts que nous menons pour bâtir un Cameroun et un monde sans guerre. Je commencerai par une brève présentation de notre chapitre. Le chapitre Cameroun de World Beyond War a été créé en novembre 2020. Les membres actuels, une vingtaine, sont des jeunes de plusieurs localités du pays qui s'impliquent dans notre travail, qui contribuent à la construction d'un Cameroun apaisé, un Cameroun en paix. World Beyond War Cameroun est un groupe de Camerounais qui travaillent ensemble sur les alternatives à la force comme moyen de résolution des conflits, afin de trouver de nouvelles solutions aux problèmes de longue date auxquels les Camerounais sont confrontés depuis quelques décennies déjà et qui ont conduit le pays dans des conflits. Au Cameroun, à travers les campagnes, les formations, les plaidoyers, World Beyond War s'efforce à consolider les actions des volontaires qui adhèrent à la vision de la construction de la paix à travers des méthodes non seulement non violentes, mais qui éduquent également à une paix durable. En février 2024, nous avons restructuré la coordination du chapitre suite à l'élection de notre l'ancien coordonnateur à un poste régional qui blesse celui d'organisateur africain. De nouveaux coordonnateurs ont été désignés pour présider aux destinées du chapitre national et ainsi piloter les projets et redynamiser l'engagement de la communauté. Il s'agit de moi-même, Roméo Sonkeng, assisté par Judith. Je suis basé à Yaoundé et mon activité couvre les domaines des droits, de la protection de l'environnement, de l'économie, de l'environnement, de l'égalité des sexes et de la gestion des catastrophes. Je vais vous présenter essentiellement nos activités de cette année. Le Cameroun traverse des tensions multiples, conflits armés dans certaines régions, discours de haine et violence communautaire, défis liés au surarmement et à la militarisation croissante. C'est dans ce contexte que notre travail pour la paix prend tout son sens. Nos objectifs et approches. Notre chapitre A, éduquer et sensibiliser les jeunes, les communautés et les institutions sur les causes de la guerre et les alternatives pacifiques. Amener des plaidoyers et promouvoir des politiques de désarmement, de prévention des conflits et le respect des droits humains. La mobilisation et l'implication des sociétés civiles, des femmes et des jeunes dans la contribution des solutions non violentes. Nos activités récentes. Nous avons mené plusieurs activités, parmi lesquelles le renforcement de la cohésion sociale, de vivre ensemble et la mobilisation formant des jeunes leaders pour prévenir les violences et les discours de haine dans les communautés. Nous avons mené des campagnes. Parmi ces campagnes, nous avons principalement la campagne contre les robots tueurs. Nous avons mené des campagnes de sensibilisation également, notamment sur le traité de non-prolifération des combustibles fossiles, reliant paix et justice climatique. Nous menons actuellement la campagne sur la fermeture des bases militaires américaines au Cameroun. Et nous travaillons pour promouvoir l'éducation et le développement plutôt que la militarisation. Les résultats et impacts. Le renforcement des capacités de plus de 200 jeunes font partie des résultats que nous avons obtenus, ainsi que la formation des ambassadeurs de paix communautaire. Nous avons également réussi la réduction des discours de haine en ligne et en présentiel dans les zones ciblées. Nous avons mis en place un réseau de jeunes qui vise à sensibiliser et engager dans la prévention des violences. En conclusion, notre engagement reste clair, celui de travailler pour un monde et un Cameroun en particulier sans guerre, où la sécurité se construit par la justice, l'inclusion et le respect de la dignité humaine. Je vous remercie pour votre bienveillante attention pour le chapitre du Cameroun. Je suis Roméo Sonkeng.
Merci beaucoup. Thank you so much to Cameroon and to Roméo for all that wonderful work. Okay, now we are going to, I think we're going to Canada, aren't we? To the Toronto chapter. And it's only a few years ago we had our conference in Toronto. So let's welcome to Sharmeen Khan. Welcome, Sharmeen.
Hi, everyone. Is my sound okay?
Yes.
Okay, great. I'm so impressed with everyone's presentation. I wasn't able to make a slideshow, but I'll just stick our Instagram here in the chat if people wanted to see what we've been up to for the past year. Sorry, give me 1 second as I pull up my notes. Of course, I've closed it.
While you're getting ready.
Oh, sorry.
Sharmeen,
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I just want to say that, you know, we've heard the French language, the Spanish language. We're a global organization, and we have just hired or in the process of hiring a European organizer, and we're about to hire an Asia organizer. So we are doing plenty to be a global organization. Back to you, Sharmeen.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing to just be part of such an internationalist organization. So hi everyone, my name is Sharmeen and I'm a fairly new organizer with World Beyond War in Toronto. This chapter started in late October 2023, and we organized on the traditional territory of the Mississauga New Credit, Huron-Wendat, and the Seneca, covered by Treaty 13. Although we're quite new, we've been an incredibly active group in the last few years, mostly because we started pretty soon after the incursion war into Gaza after October 7th. So we were one of the first groups to have a clear anti-war message, and also engage in very confrontational actions that were, we used civil disobedience and direct action at different MPs' offices, at their homes, and also at different factories that make arms. And in a time when it was a bit unpopular to do so, I mean, the tide has changed. We were one of the first groups with Palestinian Youth Movement and other groups to hold our local, provincial, and federal governments account for their uncritical support of Israeli attacks on Palestinians. So that's meant a lot of things like participating in anti-war rallies to blocking the entrances of arms manufacturing companies that sell pieces or arms to Israel, to confronting members of parliament on their stance. And we've also participated in actions that confronted banks such as the Scotia Bank and their investment in Elbit Systems. And most recently, actually a few days ago, we participated in action in London, Ontario. We have a London in Ontario, not London, England, called the Best Defense Conference, which is basically an arms fair. And activists from all over the region shut down that conference for a few hours and made it close to impossible for participants to enter. So in Toronto, we link the impact of militarism on Indigenous people. So we center the knowledge and experiences of Indigenous people and their struggle. And our the Canadian Army specifically attacked Indigenous movements and sovereignty movements. We also link the role of war to the impacts on refugees and migrants seeking status in Canada. Right now in Canada, we see a huge move towards funding a militarized border and also a stronger military with the aim of 5% of our GDP going to the military. We're on some NATO agreement. So we have a government, even though they're liberal and we're voted in as this kind of like anti-Trump sentiment, taking this very pro-war, pro-military stance, while at the same time gutting essential services and our social services, and also making caps for international students and fueling a huge anti-immigrant and anti-refugee sentiment. We link all these sentiments towards our greater anti-war and peace movement. In terms of actual actions, we as a group are really excited about being more disruptive, I would say. We like to focus on campaigns to end our government's complicity with the murder of Palestinians with our End Embargoes campaign. And we also bring attention to legal loopholes that corporations are using to still send arms and other manufacturing pieces to Israel. So we very much want to get trained and build confidence and engage in different forms of disruptive actions. Should they be direct actions? Should they be circling buildings, rallies that take over the streets, sit-ins at our MPs' offices, and things like that. We also engage in proper education by raising awareness of our government's own support and investments in the military budget and in their support with greater militarism. So we hold educationals, such as the one that's going to happen tomorrow, that will be streamed. And we link education to asking people to engage in action with us. So we try to link those two as much as we can. So yeah, but we are a small group and we go through ups and downs with participation. We are still, doing a lot of work internally in terms of building our own capacity, making sure everyone is like trained and leveled up to be able to respond, but also take the time to think about strategy and think about what's most effective. With that, I think we are a group, even though we're new, people look to us to show up. People look to us to be part of coalitions and to offer expertise. So many of our members offer their sort of like skills as legal observers or marshals, and we are seen as a group of highly trained and confident organizers who are ready to show up for other people. So I think just really maintaining strong coalitions with Palestinian movements, indigenous movements is really important to us and our values. And kind of maintaining that anti-oppressive, anti-colonial politics, anti-racist politics in our anti-war or anti-militarism activism. So I'll leave it there, and people can look through our Instagram. For people who are joining around Toronto and want to join, please do get in touch. You can find us if you just Google World Beyond War Toronto. You'll find us as part of the big World Beyond War website. Was that
Wow,
good? Was that about 5 minutes?
that was amazing. Thank you so much, Sharmeen. And I could listen to you all day hearing what you're doing. It's really inspiring.
Thanks.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so our last chapter coordinator, we're going back over to Latin America, over to Colombia. And we have a recorded message from Estefania Gomez Mejia. Hola.
Hola, saludos desde Bogotá, Colombia. Me presento, soy Estefania Gómez, coordinadora del capítulo Colombia-Bogotá. Extenderles un agradecimiento por la participación en esta conferencia No a la Guerra, que hace un mundo más allá de la guerra. Como ustedes saben, desde el año pasado, precisamente desde septiembre, octubre, inauguramos nuestro capítulo aquí en Bogotá, Colombia, con varios compañeros activistas de varios movimientos. Nos hemos enfocado en la solidaridad con el pueblo palestino. Hemos estado en varias actividades como plantones, ya sea frente a la Embajada de los Estados Unidos, movilizaciones, incluso participamos en el encuentro de La Haya, que bien saben vino la relatora de las Naciones Unidas, Francesca Albanese. También hemos denunciado tanto el genocidio como el ecocidio desde nuestro capítulo, porque no es solamente las muertes humanas, sino también el desabastecimiento de agua, que desde el 2017 está como derecho fundamental, y Israel está abarcando también el ecocidio debido a que está desabasteciendo agua en Palestina. En segundo lugar, estamos participando con varios colectivos en el rechazo a la feria de armas, que en Colombia se llama Expo Defensa. Hemos participado en pegar posters en las calles, también hacer pedagogía desde las universidades y colegios, con actividades lúdicas, juegos de mesa. Debo mencionar que esta feria se realiza aquí en Colombia cada 2 años. Este año se realizará en diciembre. Aprovecho el momento para pedirles sus videos en solidaridad con el pueblo colombiano y en rechazo a esta feria de armas. En tercer lugar, participamos del Congreso de Neutralidad que se hizo el año pasado en Colombia, siendo los anfitriones. Este evento se realizó en el Congreso de la República de Colombia con invitados internacionales y diplomáticos nacionales, pidiéndole y enseñándole al gobierno que puede llegar a tomar una postura neutral, tanto en conflictos internos como externos, y hacer vías diplomáticas y de diálogo para llegar a acuerdos. Por último, pero no menos importante, también hemos participado en varias actividades de pedagogía, plantones, acerca de las bases militares. Como ustedes saben, Colombia tiene, por el gobierno, dicen que tienen 7 bases militares, pero no dicen que esas 7 bases militares son con uniformados estadounidenses y más de 20 sin uniformados, sin ejército militar. El pasado 23 de febrero estuvimos en el plantón en el marco del Día Internacional contra las Bases Militares en el centro de la ciudad. También hicimos pedagogía de que existen más de 25 bases militares en Colombia. También hemos asistido a varias actividades y nos oponemos a la realización del proyecto en Gorgona, que quieren hacer otra base militar y hacer un ecocidio en Gorgona, y no solamente en Gorgona, sino en todas las bases militares a sus alrededores. Como bien saben, se vulneran tanto derechos humanos como ecológicos, ya sea por abuso policial, por tanto físico como verbal, psicológico. Nos oponemos a todo tipo de violencia desde nuestro capítulo, y también nos oponemos a que Colombia siga siendo partícipe de la OTAN. Esto es una coalición militar para fomentar la guerra y la violencia a nivel internacional. Desde Colombia extendemos un abrazo y un saludo para todos.
Wow, thank you so much, Estefania from Colombia. That's just incredible and a beautiful presentation, and I really love the music behind there as well. So thank you so much. And well, wasn't that just so fantastic? And I just like everybody here just to give everybody a big clap or wave your hands or a huge, put some comments, just how fantastic. And Greta wouldn't want me to say this, but a lot of this amazing stuff is due to Greta's incredible hard work. And we are just so lucky to have an angel working for our organization. And next year, we're going to be looking forward to having incredible reports from new chapters in Europe and in Asia as our new coordinators or our new directors are hired. So that's just really exciting for us as an organization. Anyway, it's time for a cup of tea or something like that and a wee break. And Greta's going to tell you what to do next and how long you've got. And I actually have to go and celebrate my Ruby wedding now. So I'll come back later. But thanks, everybody, and have a wonderful rest of the conference. And please tell your friends to come and jump in and join the conference if they can. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much, Liz, for moderating the session. Thank you, everyone. Literally, the work of the chapters is what inspires me and keeps me going every day to be part of this global movement. So thank you all. Yes, we are now going to close this session. We're going to shut down the Zoom. We're going to come back in 10 minutes at 4:45 Eastern Time. So join the same Zoom link in 10 minutes, and then we'll have our next session. So thank you again. See you soon.